Friends, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to explain how to change active voice into passive voice. So if you don't subscribe my channel, please subscribe it so that you can get the notifications when I upload my new videos. Let's come to the point. Now let's know what is active voice. Active voice, the action which is done by subject is called active voice, and passive voice, the action which is done by object is called passive voice. For example, Ram ate rice. This is active voice. Here in this sentence, Ram is subject and rice is object, and at the action at is done by the subject Ram. And sentence number 2, rice was eaten by Ram. This is passive voice. In this sentence, the action eaten is done by the object Ram. So it is passive voice. Now let's come to know how to change active voice into passive voice. Now rule number 1, when we change active voice into passive voice, the object of active voice become the subject of passive voice, and the subject of active voice becomes by plus object in the passive voice. For example, you can see here in the example, Ram ate rice. Here in this sentence, Ram is subject, at verb, and rice is object. While we change this active voice into passive voice, rice object should be in the place of subject. It means the object becomes subject in the passive voice, and subject becomes by plus object in the passive voice. Now rule number 2, the main verb of active voice is changed into past participle or verb 3. Past participle or verb 3. Let's see the example. At is the main verb here. Active voice, main verb at. And while we change active voice into passive voice, main verb should be changed into past participle. It means verb 3. So at is verb 2 and eaten is verb 3 or past participle. Now rule number 3. The unknown door like he, she, we, you, they, somebody, someone, people, etc. should not mention in the passive voice. For example, someone has taken my pen. It is active voice. And while we change the active voice into passive voice, this object become subject in the passive voice. So we have to write my pen. And then after has plus verb 3 should change into has plus been plus verb 3. So I had written here has been and taken. And we should not mention this someone. It is unknown doer. We should not mention in the passive voice. Now let's come to how to change the simple present tense into passive voice. Simple present tense structure, active voice structure is subject plus verb 1 verb 5 plus object. Now it's while we change active voice of simple present tense into passive voice, the structure is like this. Object plus EJMR plus verb 3 plus by plus subject. For example, you can see here, Hari plays football. This sentence is in simple present tense. So while we change simple present tense means verb 1, verb 5. And while we change it into passive voice, we should find out the object first. Here is object is football. So we have to bring this object in the place of subject. So football is here. And plays, verb 5 should change into is MR plus verb 3. So we write football takes is, not M, not R. It takes, football takes is. So is, I have written here is, and verb 5 should change into verb 3. Main verb should be changed into past participle or verb 3. So played, and then after subject should change into by plus object. So by Hari, it is here. Now they invite me. It is also in simple present tense. While we change it into passive voice, we have to bring object in the place of subject. And while we here is object is me, and while we bring this me in the place of subject, we have to change it into subjective case. Let's know what is the subjective case of me. Me should change into I. Us should change into we. In the place of subject, we have to write we, us. In the object objective form we have to write us. You, he, him, she, her, it, they, them. So while we change this objective case in the as a subject, then after we have to write here I. Then after this verb 1 should change into ismr plus verb 3. I takes aim. So we have to write here aim. I aim. And verb 1 should be changed into verb 3. So in invited. And we should not mention unknown doer in the passive voice. This way can change. Now let's come to know how to change the present continuous tense into a passive voice. Structure of present continuous tense or active voice structure is subject plus ismr plus verb plus object. While we change this structure into passive voice, let's come to know what is the structure. First of all, we have to change this object here. Object, we have to bring this object in the place of subject. Then after is mr and being plus verb 3 plus by plus subject. So for example, Puja is buying a pen. If we have to change this into passive voice, then after we have to find out the object first. So in this subject, this is in present continuous sentence, present continuous tense. See, Puja, then after is mr is and verb for buying a pen. So it is in present continuous tense. So while we change it into passive voice, we have to bring object in the place of subject. So we have to write here a pen. Then after it takes is mr, which one? A pen is singular subject, so it takes is. Then after being, we have to write here being, being. And then after verb 3, this verb 4 should change into past participle or verb 3. And verb 3 is B-O-U-G-H-T, bought. A pen is being bought, and subject should change into by plus object. By, P-O-O-J, Puja. Here in the sentence, this sentence also is in a present continuous tense. Subject is mr, verb 4 plus object. So we have to bring object in the place of subject. A. So R-R-O-R, horror. M-O-V-I-E, movie. It takes is-mr. A horror movie is a singular, so it takes is. Then after being, it is mr plus verb 4 change into mr plus being plus verb 3. So we have to write being. B-E-I-N-G, being. And we have to change this into verb 3. Is being, W-A-T-C-H. It washed. Washed is being washed. And we should not mention the unknown doer here. And let's come to the example number 3. I am helping my friends here. This is also in present continuous tense. So first of all, we have to find out the object. Object is my friend. We have to bring this object in the place of subject. So write down my, F-R-I-E-N-D-S, friends, my friends. My friends is plural. So it takes R. Is mr, options are. So it takes R. My friends are. Then after is mr plus verb change into is mr plus being. B-E-I-N-G, being. This verb should change into verb 3. S-E-L-P-E-T, helped. By me, it's also can write here by me. By me. In this way, we have to change present continuous into passive voice. Now let's come to know how to change present perfect tense into passive voice. The active structure of present perfect tense is subject plus has plus verb 3 plus object. And while we change this structure into passive voice, the structure is object. We have to bring this object in the place of subject. So here is object, and has plus verb 3 change into has plus been plus verb 3. And this subject should change into by plus subject. So structure is object plus has plus been plus verb 3 plus by plus subjects. Let's come to the example. For example, you can see here, my father has fulfilled my desire. It is in present perfect tense. See, my father, then has a verb 3 and objects. This object should be in the place of subject. While we change active voice into passive voice, bring the object here in the place of subject. So here I write here, my DESIRES, desires. It's plural, so it takes have. It doesn't take has, because plural subject takes plural verb. So here is SAVE, have. My desire, have. And has a plus verb 3 should change into has a plus been plus verb 3. So here been, have been fulfilled. FULFILLED, fulfilled by my, subject should be changed into by plus object. My FATHER, father. And number 2, example number 2, they have built a house. Subject plus has a plus verb 3 plus object. It is also present perfect tense. So while we change it into passive, we have to bring the object as a place of subject. So right here, a HOUSE, house. Then a house is the singular subject, so it takes singular verb has. So we should care about the subject verb agreement also, has. And then after has a plus verb 3 change into has a plus been plus verb 3. So we have to write here, been, has a plus been plus verb 3, built, same verb 3, same, ILT, built. And unknown doer, they should not mention in the passive voice. Now simple past tense, active voice. Now let's know how to change simple past tense into passive voice. The structure of simple past tense is subject plus verb 2 plus object, and passive structure is object plus was plus verb 3 plus by plus subjects. So come to the example. The king made him a minister. The king subject, made verb 2, him objects. So while we change it into passive voice, we have to bring this here, him. It is in objective case, and while we change it into subjective case, we have to write here he. Then after he takes was, where was, he takes was, he was. Then after verb 2 should change into was where plus verb 3. So was made, made, he was made a minister. And by subject should be by plus object, by the king, king. Now let's learn how to change the past continuous tense into passive. Active voice structure is subject plus was were plus purple plus object, and passive voice structure is object plus was were plus being plus verb 3 plus by plus subject. Was were plus purple should change into was were plus being plus verb 3. Now let's come to the example. Let's see the example. A lion was chasing a deer. A lion was buffalo chasing a deer. We have to change it into this structure. So our object should be in the place of subject. So here we have to write this is object. So right here a deer. And then was, where it takes, or deer is singular, so it takes was. Then after being, BEING, being. Then after this, main verb should be changed into verb 3. Chasing should be changed into verb 3. ASET, chased. And then by plus subject. This subject should be written by plus object. By LION, lion. In the second sentence, object is the poor. The poor. The poor where. The plus adjectives takes it's a plural verb, so here is where. The poor were. Then after were plus being, 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 and verb 4 should change into past participle verb 3, helped, helped. And we should not mention the unknown door here by helped. Now past perfect tense, structure of past perfect tense. Active structure is subject plus had plus verb 3 plus object, and passive structure is object plus had plus been plus verb 3 plus by plus subjects. You can see here. For example, Ria had bought some red flowers. It is in past perfect tense. Ria had plus verb 3 is here, so it is past perfect tense. Now, while we change past perfect into passive, first of all, we have to find out the object. Object is some red flowers, so we have to bring it in the place of subject. Some red flowers, some red flowers. Then after had plus verb 3 should change into had plus been plus verb 3. Had been bought, and subject should change into by plus object as object. Ria. This way we have to change past perfect tense. Now simple future tense. Structure, active voice structure is subject plus shall will plus verb 1 plus object. While we change it into passive, then after the structure is object plus shall will plus be plus verb 3 plus by plus subject. Let's see the example. For example, we will speak English. Here English is object, so we have to bring it in the place of subject. English, English. Then after shall will plus be plus verb 3. English will be. Will plus verb 1 change into will plus verb 1 change into will be plus verb 3 will. Then after we have to write be and verb 3. Speak, verb 3 of speak is spoken. SPOKEN will be spoken and by us. And second example, Neha will write a letter. Here will plus verb 1 should change into will be plus verb 3. Like a letter is object here, so we have to bring it in the place of subject. A letter, TTR, later, then will, then be, and write should change into verb 3. Verb 1 should change into verb 2. Write, verb 3 of write is written. WRITTEN, written by. Subject should change into object by plus object by Neha. Now it's the last future perfect tense. Active voice structure is subject plus shall will plus have plus verb 3 plus object, and passive voice structure is object plus shall will plus have been plus verb 3 plus by plus subject. See, for example, Sita will have cooked rice. Will have cooked verb 3. It is in future perfect tense. Now while we change this into passive, then we have to bring this object in the place of subject. So right here rice. Then after rice takes will, 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 same have. Then after been, will have plus verb 3 should change into will have been plus verb 3. So been and verb 3 is cooked. Cooked by Sita. In this way we can change the active voice into passive voice. I just explained in this video how to change tense wise change. Now in my next video I will explain about how to change questions or imperative sentences or interrogative sentences into passive. So if you want to know that, please like, share and comment, and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much for watching my video. Thank you.